found out my 24 female sister, 19 female, is being inappropriate with my boyfriend, 25 male. So the other day my boyfriend sat me down and tried to explain best he could without making me worry. He showed me his chat history with my sister, and basically it shows my sister making flirty jokes with my boyfriend and my boyfriend ignoring them, which he admits he shouldn't have and shut it down quicker. The chat moves to my sister straight up asking if he could come over to have a better night than he could ever have with me, and my boyfriend saying to stop sending these messages and if she continues he'll tell me or block her. Then the most recent messages just a few minutes before my boyfriend sat me down were pictures of my sister nude and videos too. I was disgusted and I'm so angry and upset. I have proof my boyfriend repeatedly told her to stop, and I'm over the fact he didn't tell me straight away. But I can't forgive my sister. Why would she do this? Should I forgive her? These thoughts are just going round my head and making me madder and madder. Of course you shouldn't forgive your sister. You should first be extremely thankful to your boyfriend for proving how much he loves and respects you. He was put in a bad situation and did the right thing in the end. I would tell your parents what happened and go NC with her until she can grow up. I cancelled my wedding 2 days beforehand and I don't know to move on. Post length. Long. Well, this is a ride, so buckle in. I, 31F, have been best friends with my partner, 29M, for 10 years, together as a couple for 5, engaged for 1. My wedding was planned for this Saturday at my parents' home, a carefully manicured horse farm with beautiful willow trees. We are saving for a house, so we kept the wedding small, 20 of our immediate family and close friends. We have some immune-compromised people attending and have lost people close to us because of COVID, so naturally we included the stipulation of everyone being vaccinated. The groom's mother is anti-vax, so she said she wouldn't be attending. The groom seemed fine with this. Flash forward to 4 months out. He was not fine. He broke down in tears at the thought of her not coming, and seeing him cry hurt my heart. I spoke with my parents, owners of the venue, and they agreed to allow her to come with a PCR test for LabCorp. I relayed this to the groom's mother. I will refer to her as J. She agreed to this. A month beforehand she spoke of scheduling it and invited the groom and I to come get the tests too, but work prevented us. We are fully vaccinated. Now the week of the wedding, my parents are pulling out all the stops. My mother hand-made the flower arrangements and was going to decorate the cake with me. My father was spending hours to make the property look its best. The groom and I were helping where we could and coordinating the vendors. I asked him to check with Jay about her test since the results should be in soon. LabCorp takes 2-4 days. Turns out Jay hadn't taken the PCR we agreed to but bought at-home tests instead. Putting aside the accuracy of at-home versus PCR from a lab, this was not what we agreed to. The groom broke down again. His mother has been the only person in his life and he wanted her there so badly. My parents wouldn't budge as they had already made her an accommodation. I called her on the phone and begged her to please get the lab test, as she might have enough time to get the results back. She refused as it goes against her beliefs, accused my mother specifically of playing games, and said she was coming anyways. I told her if she came then all compromised individuals, including my mother and grandfather, would leave. She replied that it was their choice to do that and hung up. The groom was a mess, so I turned to my father. He called Jay and they spoke. It started off cordially but then escalated as she realized he was not budging on the previous agreement made. She began insulting him and insisted the money my family had spent on the wedding without assistance from her was, as it should be, aka all on my parents. She said my father was purposely keeping her from her son's wedding and questioned his manhood. I had up until this point been trying to talk to the groom's sister, we'll call her A, 27F, who was talking with their crying mother. She kept saying things along the lines of, "This is your decision, bride, so do something." I felt so hurt and insulted. It was my day but not my venue and I felt helpless while the groom asked me for support. I honestly didn't know how to support this anymore. Day 2 of this back and forth, I was mentally and emotionally exhausted. The groom called Jay, and apparently she was willing to get the PCR test now but the results might not be in on time. He asked me if this was acceptable, and I told him to ask my father. He didn't, and instead told her she couldn't come to the wedding. He broke down sobbing and locked himself in the bathroom. He opened the door long enough to shout at me, "Are you happy now?" and slammed it back in my face. His sister immediately started berating me through text. She finally conceded, "So why would you react that way?" I tried to explain. I went to my parents, who bent enough to allow a rapid test done by a professional at a doctor's office. To say I became a punching bag is an understatement. Groom's sister A called my parents F-king psychopaths, sorry not sorry, and this broke my mother. The groom knew everything that was transpiring, and not once did he defend me, support me, or fight for me. When he told his mother not to come, he blamed it all on me. This person was not in my corner, and my parents saw this. After days of nothing but being emotionally and verbally abused, I cancelled the wedding. I felt that the groom let one person light the fire and he just watched it burn. His relationship with my parents is ruined. My relationship with his mother and sister is ruined. I never want to see or talk to these people ever again. My heart has been put in a blender, and these people, the groom included, have been hit the pulse button until it broke. The groom and I had a serious talk, and he realized that he was a doormat, that he didn't support or fight for me, and called A and J. I feel so raw. I'm not sure how to continue at this point. We are remaining engaged, but I need to know that this person has my back, and until I know this, no wedding will happen. We both entered the boxing ring together, but once A and J joined the fight, he ran and left me alone. Today I'm packing all of our wedding stuff to put into the attic. I feel numb, but the tears continue. I don't know how to move on with my fiancé, whom I still love but has hurt me so much. Writing this out has been cathartic for me, so even if no one reads it, I thank Reddit for this platform. And apologize for the length. Too long, did not read. I cancelled my wedding because my partner didn't support me against his mother and sister. I don't know how to forgive him and move on, but I know I still love him. How do I mend what's happened between us? How do I get over my anger and raw hurt? That was a glimpse into what married life with him would be like. If I were you, I would seriously reconsider the relationship, at an absolute minimum. Call off the engagement until this issue is fully addressed with counseling and therapy. I am so sorry you went through this. But this isn't something you can come back from. You know how his mom's whittle feelings came first over your family's lives? Her out-of-control emotions, and sister-in-laws too, will always come first if you marry this man. There are a few effing psychopaths in this story, but they're not on your side. Be thankful the craziness came out before the wedding so you don't have to get a divorce later. It's painful, but it's the best wedding gift Mill could give you. Update. I cut my best friend off because my wife told me to. I hate myself for it. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to come back to Reddit after my last post, but I need somewhere to vent, so here seems as good a place as any. My last post received probably a well-deserved level of hate. I understand that I fucked up when I cut my friend off. I imagine anyone reading this only really cares about how he's doing, so I'll start with what little I know. We haven't spoken really. He found my post and sent me a message telling me he didn't care if I was remorseful, he's done with me. He also told my parents what happened and the reasoning behind it. They were pissed, to put it lightly. They've been pretty open about how much they are disappointed in me and how they are disgusted with my wife. He hasn't really spoken to them other than to let them know what happened. My mum is heartbroken. She really loved him and now he isn't really replying to her messages. The only other thing I've really heard is that he is speaking to his ex again. She cheated on him and I know he's probably only speaking to her for some support. I guess I'm worried he'll give her another chance and she'll hurt him again. Other than that, I don't know anything. Lots of messages telling me to divorce my wife. Well, you might get what you want. Our relationship has taken a massive dive off a cliff and I don't see a way to repair it. To those telling me that something must have happened between them, I can only say this. He's not that sort of person. He'd never betray someone like that. I don't know if I can say the same for my wife anymore, given how she's manipulated me into ditching my best mate. But I know he's not the sort of person to participate in that. It seems she just didn't like him and wanted him gone. She used the potential of us starting a family to make a move to remove him. So to recap, my parents hate me. My best friend won't talk to me. He's now talking to his ex who cheated on him and broke him last year. My marriage is probably broken beyond repair. I don't see any real way to fix things, but I guess I'm wondering if there is any possible way to fix things with him. If anyone has any advice, I'd appreciate it. I miss him more than anything. TLDR. My life is collapsing around me. My best friend won't talk to me. My parents hate me. My marriage is probably over. My best friend is making a huge mistake talking to his ex. I guess I'm wondering if there is any possible way to fix things with him. Nope. That ship sailed the day you ignored his pleas, sided with your wife and somehow convinced his other friends to ditch him too. Your wife and your friends are garbage. I'm going to advise people to not read the other post. I've read some horrible things on Reddit, but that was heartless. So bloody heartless. I regret reading that. Just ruined my night. You and your wife shouldn't bring children into the world. You would be raising monsters. Neither of you are capable of the emotional maturity that children need to grow into decent human beings. It goes to show how shitty you are considering the type of people your friends are. I can't believe that chose you and your POS wife over that guy. Do the guy a favor, pay him back for his wedding gift and contributions. He did that with a false belief that you were friends. My 26F boyfriend, 28M, is much richer than he let on, and now I am scared. We've been together for 4 years now and met at a mutual friend's birthday party. My boyfriend was born and raised in India and I was born in Texas. He came to the US for his undergrad. All throughout our relationship, we've always maintained a pretty basic lifestyle for a couple in their mid-20s. Occasional dine-outs, rented apartment, traveling once a year, etc. Now, my boyfriend knows that I come from an upper-middle-class family and respects my parents for the upbringing that they have provided for my siblings and I. He had also told me that his family does all right, is comfortable, and so on. I never questioned him much about it since my friends thought he might be supporting his parents financially and could be embarrassed about it. About a month ago, we started talking about where our relationship is going and potential next steps when he tells me that he wants me to travel to India and meet his family personally. I naturally agreed and thought that it made logical sense until he started outlining some basic rules. While communicating with his family, always put family in high regard, never talk about money, treat servants with respect, take the car parked in the guest slot if you have to go anywhere solo, etc. I was really taken aback by this. I didn't know his family had servants, multiple cars, and so on. I asked him more about it and also decided to Google his name. Turns out his family is basically worth hundreds of millions of dollars and has been rich since at least the 1800s. My boyfriend doesn't have any social media, but his name is plastered across Google and his family was mentioned in multiple articles, magazines, and so on. His family has booked first-class tickets for us to fly to India about a month from now and are excited to meet us, but I am really scared of navigating this situation and letting my boyfriend down. I also don't know any upper-class cues and suddenly find myself feeling small. I have also suddenly started seeing my boyfriend in a different light and picked up on cues which confirm his wealthy upbringing. Nothing is different. All of this is in your head. Treat him exactly like you have until now. Your feelings are understandable, but your boyfriend clearly loves you and believes his family will too. He's probably been preparing them to meet you just as he has done for you. As long as you remember to treat the servants with respect, I'm sure you'll be fine. Winking face. Hey, is this the Indian version of Crazy Rich Asians? Get on grandma's good side. Just because you found out that he's wealthier than you thought, doesn't mean that anything has changed. He's still the same person that he was prior to you finding out. Your boyfriend wants a normal life with you and has welcomed you into his family's life. Keep your heart open, your mind clear, and enjoy life as it comes. Servants are normal in India, not just for ultra-rich.